Okay, copy.
And we are recording. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the second ever episode of the Hot Stove Podcast. I am your host, Zach Nunez, along with my co-hosts.
Mark.
Connor.
I'll wait. Josh.
In Austin, yeah.
I knew you were going to do that. I knew the both of you were just going to sit there and wait for each other to go.
Yeah, I knew when to go because of last time. Mark just went off the bat and I didn't hear him, so let's talk.
You got to get into an actual rhythm because I'm pointing at Connor right now on my screen.
Oh, great.
But obviously there's no way for you to tell that.
I love being pointed at.
Next week we
See?
point it out beforehand.
So we are here for our week one analysis, breakdown, all that kind of stuff in the NFL, as well as our week two preview. But before we get started with that, we got some more trivia to answer on this episode of Hot Stove. So we are going to start with our NFL trivia for the day. And I'm going to ask you a question that if you're a keen viewer on ESPN, on NFL Countdown on Sunday afternoon, or if you happen to have watched the Bengals-Chargers game, you may have heard this stat as they mentioned it on the broadcast. Obviously, Joe Burrow, number one overall pick, made his NFL debut this past week. Played okay. You know, he made a couple of rookie mistakes, as you will. That interception was really, really bad, and we'll talk about that later. But another question related to the number one overall pick. Who was the last quarterback taken number one overall to win their week one start?
Man.
What did you just say?
That's tough.
Oh, I thought that was an answer.
It was a man.
I reckon it was a man, most likely.
I feel like
They've been like
a really bad number one overall.
I just remember it's been like they've been like 0-11 or something like that. So I'm trying to like trace back the
Let me tell you
years.
this, it was in the 2000s.
Yeah. Like early 2000s, I'm guessing. I'm gonna guess like an upset. Was that guy first overall? Can I look up if it was first overall?
You can look up. To see if the player was first overall.
Okay.
Connor, you got any guesses? I see you pontificating over there.
I need to look up who's been drafted first overall.
Well, that I
That's
guess you could do
just,
that.
I mean,
I guess you could do that.
you give me a list
I'm
of
not
them,
gonna look up.
I'd do a lot better.
Like, you want to see my screen, but like.
Was it David Carr?
It was David Carr.
Good
Correct.
guess.
David Carr was the number one overall
I
pick
don't
in
even know that.
2002.
I knew it was someone that wasn't good because the answer to those trivia questions is never someone good.
Yeah.
How many number one overall picks have been good? Jameis, Baker, they're all losers.
Andrew
David
Luck's
Carr?
good. Cam Newton's good.
Andrew Luck retired.
Andrew Luck was very good though. I mean, that
Peyton Manning was good.
All right. I got two more football questions here.
All right.
Great.
There were 199 total penalty flags thrown in week one in the NFL. That was the lowest since what year?
Oh Jesus.
1972.
More recent than that.
2008.
Less recent than that.
1993.
More recent than that.
Austin, it's all up to you.
2001 because the refs, they felt something special that year.
Austin's right. It was 2001. 2001 was the last time that there were 199 or fewer flags thrown on week one in the NFL. Austin, did you look that up?
No, I figured people had to get their minds off something, and the refs didn't
Let
want
'em play.
Didn't want to keep stopping the game. So
The boys let them play.
That's a
played,
really
Austin. Well played. And now we're going to roll into our last NFL trivia question. This one, also some week one trivia, and it's something we're going to circle back around to later with the biggest injury news in the NFL this past week. That might have just given it away. Who led the NFL with 4 red zone targets in week one of 2020?
I assume he got injured. Just based off that.
I'll give everybody one guess, and then I'll tell you the answer.
Who was the biggest injury this week?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm trying to think.
I won't say it's a player that got injured.
Oh, maybe you're just trying to throw us off the
So they didn't
smell.
get injured or they are injured?
I can't say that.
Greg Olson.
No.
Jimmy Graham.
No. He did catch 2 touchdowns, though, so that's a good guess.
2 touchdowns.
No. Jimmy Graham caught 2 touchdowns.
Oh,
This guy didn't.
How many touchdowns did he catch?
Okay.
0, I think. Let me go see.
Connor's all for just making it so it's just pointed out for him.
Dude,
It's not even a trivia at that point.
I don't pay attention to all this stuff, man.
Whatever comes to the dome, I throw out there. Yeah.
He did catch a touchdown.
Oh, screw you, Austin.
My bet was still, or my guess was still. No, I'll take it.
I don't remember if he caught a touchdown or not, but Stephon Diggs.
Negative. Connor, you got
He
a
did
guess?
not.
No?
All right. Yeah. Oh,
PJ Hawkinson.
Negative. I like the fact that 3 of you went with tight ends.
Yeah.
And one of you went with a team that throws the ball 12 times a game. So,
Yeah, but Allen also became the first Bills quarterback to throw for over 300 yards since 2016. So I was
That's
like,
true.
they were throwing the ball a lot more.
That did happen. No, the answer is related to one of or probably the biggest injury story of the week. That man is Emmanuel Sanders. 4 of his 5 targets came in the red zone this past week against Tampa Bay. He caught 2 passes for 15 yards and a touchdown, and we'll talk about it later, but his usage should skyrocket with the recent injury to Michael Thomas. So now I have four baseball questions for you guys.
Yes. Keep
Mark-
doing the most baseball questions every week.
Mark, I'll ask you this. Did I ask – I just turned his video off. Mark, did I ask a question related to Tim Anderson last week?
No, you did not.
Okay, so Tim Anderson currently, if this season were to be, played out at 162, would be pacing for his second straight season with at least 17 home runs, 17 steals, and a 330 batting average. Now, there have been 4 players since 1950 who have had that stat line multiple times. Who are they?
Multiple times or back-to-back?
Just multiple times. They're not back-to-back. One of them is back-to-back. 2 of them are back-to-back.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Negative.
1950.
Connor, do you even know what team Tim Anderson plays for right now?
White Sox.
Oh, okay.
No,
Sure.
that's-
330.
So, I'll give
That's
you a
such
hint.
High batting average.
You said there's 4?
There's 4 players. I'll give you a hint. The 3 of the names are a lot bigger than you would think.
Can I take one guess?
Like, it's not going to be like some weird, obscure guy from 1962 that nobody's ever heard of.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Alfonso Soriano?
No. Good guess, though.
He never hit. I don't know if he ever hit.
330. I'm
330,
trying to
that's
think,
high for him.
That's the thing that's really like 330 so high.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like.
I get another guess.
Yes,
I guess.
you can get many guesses. There's 4 players.
Jose Reyes.
Not Jose Reyes. It's funny. I asked one of my housemates the other day that question, and Jose Reyes was the first person he came up with as well. No, it was not Jose Reyes.
Three
Unfortunately.
of them. Oh, Barry Bonds.
Nope.
What?
Smell you.
He never did that. He used to steal
Okay.
40 bases a year.
I guess I'll go with an instincts answer, even though I don't think he hit 330.
Barry
I'd say
Bonds.
A-Rod.
A-Rod seems like a good guess.
This stat has to be flawed because I'm looking at it right now. Barry Bonds had 46 and 29 with a 336 batting average in 1993.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he only did it once.
Yeah,
He only did it once. I forgot
Yeah,
that. was part of the
it's got to be
question.
twice.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that. My bad. What'd you say, Austin?
I said A-Rod.
A-Rod, no, but it's kind of a close answer.
Yankee?
Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter did it in 1999 and 2009. Did it both of those years. 10 years apart, Derek Jeter.
Ageless wonder.
So I'll give you a hint for the next guy. Did it in the 2010s. Recent guy. Still active, actually.
Still active?
He is currently in the major leagues.
Does it have to be over the course of a full season?
Yes.
Albert Pujols.
Not Albert Pujols.
17 steals. Albert Pujols.
Hey, Elber was a really good base runner when he was
The
young.
machine.
When he was younger, he was a really good base runner.
No, but you are close in that this player has won an MVP.
It's not Miguel Cabrera.
No, it's not Justin Verlander. I know he's won an MVP.
Mookie Betts.
Not Mookie Betts. I don't think he has multiple seasons of hitting 330.
Is it Altuve?
Yeah, he does.
Jose Altuve did it in 2016 and 2017.
That's one I should have thought of a lot.
Yeah, that's what I was
That
thinking.
was really dumb on my part.
So there are two more. One of them was in the 1950s.
Willie Mays.
That's out.
Willie Mays did it in 57 and 58.
Bingo, Mark.
I told you the names were bigger than you would expect. And then the second one, the last one is easily the hardest one. I'll tell you, he was a middle infielder,
Trey Turner.
not Trey Turner. And
Oh,
it
this
was,
is the
That's why I
2010s
asked over the course of a full season because I was thinking Trey Turner.
no, so that's the guy in the 2010s was Altuve.
Oh, okay.
This guy did it in the 2000s.
He was a middle infielder.
Middle infielder. I can give you the years if you want.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
2007 and 2009.
Middle infielder.
07 and 09.
Ian Kinsler.
No.
Is this
Never
back-to-back
had-
weeks with Ian Kinsler? Oh, okay.
Never had an average that high.
No shot. I'm pulling stuff out of the hat.
330 is the one that gets me.
330
I got
is
nothing.
insane to me. Like it feels like it should pop out to me because who hit 330 twice?
07 and 09. Can you give us a league?
National.
National League?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's still 15 teams. You have got to go through all the middle
Give
infielders.
me the division.
I can give you the division if you really want me to.
Hit me up with the division, please.
National League East.
That doesn't help.
See, this is where
This is
I
your
would've
Jose
guessed
Reyes, but yeah.
There it is.
Jose Reyes.
Chase Utley.
Not Chase Utley.
No.
I'm out. I'm done with guess.
Chipper Jones played shortstop at one game, right?
Not in 07 and 09.
I'll tell you,
He
this guy
certainly
did
wasn't
it
stealing
for more than. I'll tell you, this guy did it more than one game. In
I got-
2007, he stole 51 bases
Who is this?
and hit 29 home runs. In 2009,
What?
he hit 24 home runs and 27 steals.
He went 51 and 29. And
We don't know who he
nobody
is.
can
Who the
think
hell
of
is this? Why can't I think of
You want me to tell you?
No. I'm going to think of it.
No.
I don't
Okay.
care if it takes the rest of the show. I'm gonna
Shortstop,
think
too. Nunez has pretty much said he's a shortstop.
He
At
is
this
a
point, he's
shortstop.
played more than one. Yeah,
Oh,
shortstop,
shortstop for
NL
me.
East,
Yeah, we have every.
He's
2007. And
What'd you say?
It's
Oh. He did transition to first base at some point, though.
shortstop to first base.
I've got nothing.
All right. So
I'm
just
in the
thinking
calling
of-
it campaign. I'm done.
It's not. Let's see. 07, 09. It's not Jose Reyes. It's. Oh, wait. Who was the. It wasn't the Marlins shortstop. No.
Oh,
Because that. No, because. Who is their shortstop?
I see Zach over there.
Was it.
Definitely the Marlins shortstop.
Who the fuck was the Marlins shortstop? And that was that.
Whoa!
good?
Whoa! Time out.
Oh, I forgot.
This isn't After Dark.
Yeah, you can bleep that.
All right, Zach,
Right.
tell us who it is.
I didn't bleep it out in the first episode. I'm not going to do it this time.
Oh,
We'll cut that.
No, like I said, I will wait and I will think about this the entire show and randomly shout it out. So move on to the next trivia
Okay.
question.
Okay, we'll move on to the next
Go.
question for the sake of time. Jesus. So this one should be quick. This one was asked by my professor the other day. Who was the fastest player in Major League history to 100 home runs?
Me.
Not you.
I'm so bad at these.
I feel it's not, but I feel like Trout is a good guess.
I was gonna guess. Is he not a good guess though? Can we get that?
What do you mean by good guess?
Oh.
This player never played
Oh.
Trout. If that's what you're wondering.
No. Same era though.
Kind of. He played from 2004 to 2016. My eye hurts.
Oh my God! It was Hanley Ramirez.
Bingo.
So just to clarify, the answer to the previous question.
Yeah, it was Hanley
17,
Ramirez.
17, 330 is Hanley Ramirez. He is
Oh
the first
my
player to do it.
gosh, it was the Marlins.
Yes, it was the Marlins.
I was just thinking about it, and I couldn't think of who played shortstop
Miguel
for them.
Cabrera should have helped us out there.
But no, Hanley Ramirez is not the answer to the second question.
No, that
who
wasn't
was
my guess for the second
fastest
question.
in Major League history to 100 home runs. I will tell you this: he did it. I don't know if I can tell you that, but he did lead the majors in home runs twice during his career.
You said 04 to 2016?
04 to 2016. I'd give you the number of his highest home run total, but that would probably give it away because it's a big number.
All right, give it away.
No, don't. No, he retired after that.
I'll tell you this. Oh, wait. Let me see if I can tell you the position. I will. It was a first baseman.
That's shocking.
That's really helpful.
Rookie first baseman.
Ryan Howard.
Ryan
Yeah.
Howard is the
Yep.
correct answer. He had 100 home runs in 326 games. And in 2006, he led the majors
59.
with 58 home runs,
58.
149 RBI. Josh, that is one for you. We should keep score.
We should.
Oh, too late. We'll start keeping score next week. Okay, so 2 more questions. My eye is really on fire, but we're going to persevere. So this one came up with in a conversation that I was having the other day about Buster Posey. Buster Posey is currently tied for second in Major League history in the amount of no-hitters caught by a catcher. Do any of you know who is first?
Yadier Molina.
No. Good guess, though.
Pudge.
Nope. I'll give you a hint. He has caught 4 no-hitters.
Yogi Berra.
Not Yogi Berra. More recent.
And Posada.
Not Jorge Posada. Caught 4 no-hitters in his career. His first one was in 2001, and his last one was in 2008.
Definitely not. Who else?
Oh, 4 in 7 years. Oh, my God. Oh, man. Who was throwing no-hitters in the early 2000s?
Jason Varitek.
Yes,
You are correct.
it is Jason Varitek.
Varitek.
I was just thinking about it.
Schilling. Come on.
I was like, because there's Buchholz, Lester, Josh Beckett.
Nope.
Josh Beckett.
I have him pulled up right here.
So-
Hideo Nomo in 2001.
Oh,
Derek
and Nomo.
Lowe- Derek Lowe in
Flo
2001.
and Nomo. Yeah.
And then Buchholz and Lester in 07 and 08. You're correct, Josh. Jason Varitek is the answer.
I knew that one.
You're a Red Sox fan, dude. Come on.
Yeah, I've got his autograph sitting over there too.
Get out of here.
Josh, you got 2 now, right?
Mark it, baby.
Did anybody else get one right this
Oh.
episode?
Yeah.
I got Hanley Ramirez.
Okay, so that's 1.
I don't even remember the other questions.
It was the football one.
And Mark got Willie Mays.
Willie Mays.
Yeah.
You got Altuve.
Austin.
Who got G?
And
I got Jeter too.
Mark got Jeter.
Didn't Mark also get David Carr?
Yes, I did get David Carr too.
Okay.
I'm on a roll.
When
Wait a
Austin
minute.
got 2001. Austin got
Yeah! Let's go!
Connor lacking on his trivia.
Okay. Trust me, Connor. We'll get some that you'll know. All right.
We're doing a lot better tonight than we did last week.
We've also been given a little bit more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's something I would know and I won't know.
okay. Moving forward, we are going to keep score. So currently, Mark has 4, Josh has 2, Austin has 2, and Connor has 0. Now, the way the trivia works is that if you get one of the answers right, so like say I say name 3 players, if you get one, that's a point, right?
Sounds good.
We're not doing like decimal points or anything like that. So we got one final trivia question worth up to 3 points in the hot stove trivia. There are 3 pitchers in the last decade.
Okay.
Scherzer.
Probably.
There are
Verlander.
3
Yeah.
pitchers. Okay, so this one, 2 of the answers are very obvious. One of them isn't. Let's just put it that way. There are 3 pitchers in the last decade who have at least 3 seasons with under a 2.5 ERA, minimum of 9 starts. Because
Jacob DeGrom.
I'd like to say that the reason that minimum of 9 starts is a thing because Aaron Nola is currently on his second season of doing such, but we have a truncated season. So
if he gets DeGrom, I get Kershaw.
correct. Mark got DeGrom.
All right.
Austin got Kershaw. There is 1 player remaining.
Verlander.
This one's not as.
Rick
It's the not
Porcello.
obvious one. No, it's not Rick Porcello.
This one's.
Hey,
This
dude,
one's
he either
not
has
as
a
known.
sub-0 ERA or he has a over 25 ERA, man. You never know.
Connor, what you said Verlander, right?
Yeah.
That's a negative.
You're saying this guy's not as known though.
This guy is not in the league anymore.
Okay.
Carlos Zambrano.
No. Not an awful guess.
Since 2010, you said?
Since 2010, 3 seasons of doing such. He did it. I'll give you the years. He did it in 2010. 2013 and 2018. I didn't even know he was in the league in 2018.
Wow. Oh, man.
Minimum 9 starts.
Austin, I'm
That's like-
disappointed. This is, pitching. You really have a heart out
This
there
is
for the pitching position.
Some obscure.
He pitched most of his career with 1 team.
I didn't do anything for me.
I'll tell you his career in total was 2007 to 2009. And the reason that this 9 start
19, you mean?
Yeah.
or 2019. And the reason that this 9 start threshold was in there because this pitcher very rarely made more than 20 starts 4 times in his 12-year career.
We get a
13-year career, my bad.
would the league hint be too?
Could I?
He was in the American League in
Okay.
2010 and 2013, the National League in 2018.
I have a crazy guess, but I have a strange feeling it's right.
Okay.
Is it Clay Buchholz?
Mark, you have 6 points. The answer is Clay Buchholz.
Because he was the type of guy. He would have like a 1.8 ERA for the Sox, and then next year it's 5.4.
No, you're funny here, Mark, because in 2013 he had a 1.74 ERA, and in 2014 he had a 5.34 ERA.
I knew it.
So,
See, that's kind of why I went with Porcello. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, but his ERA never got that low.
Well, he won a Cy Young, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and
Because
his
he won, like,
ERA was over
26
20 game. Yeah.
He went 22-4 with like a 3.16 ERA.
anyways, so that's trivia for this week. Mark is out to a blistering start with 6 points out of the first 7 questions. But hey, we move forward. And you know what we're going to move forward to? Week
The
1
NFL.
of the NFL season. And there was a couple things that I wanted to discuss. Connor, that's not, we don't know about that.
Hey, someone dropped the F-bomb. I can't do that.
No, you're good. You're good. I've been watching, Connor, The State of Combat a lot recently with Brian Campbell. It's a podcast on CBS Sports. And I believe I know now he's going to be a co-host if he isn't like currently already. I haven't watched it on Morning Combat, but regardless.
Oh, Brian Campbell. Okay. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
He already is.
He is like
Luke Thomas?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're doing a merger now, so like State of Combat is no more. It's just going to be they're doing more episodes of Morning Combat. Regardless, he's told me lots of new ways to break rules on podcasts. Let's just put it that way. So we're going to talk about week 1 of the NFL season. And we're going to do a little buy or sell before we get into specific games or anything like that. So I wrote a few things down that maybe I was wrong about going into week 1. There was a good handful of them, honestly.
I thought we were all spot on.
We are going to talk about those things and see whether or not we buy or sell them for the remainder of the season. Obviously, it's a little difficult because we've only had 1 week. So I say hedge bets on pretty much anything you say today.
Oh, I'm going all in.
But we'll start with this. Maybe I was wrong about the Indianapolis Colts. Buy or sell, the Colts are a playoff team this season.
Wants to take it.
I will buy it.
Give me a reason, Austin.
The blessing in disguise, the sad injury of Marlon Mack will unleash the unbelievable talent that is Jonathan Taylor. They will understand that they should be running the ball and not doing the Phillip Rivers approach to every game, because the Phillip Rivers approach is how you become a mediocre football team. Run the ball, and I think they'll be fine. They got a lot of talent on offense and defense, but they can't have their defense on the field the whole game because they refuse to run the ball. So I think they'll be fine. I don't think their division's very hard. I think they'll be okay.
Anybody else care to say anything about the Colts?
I buy that they are a playoff team as well. I'm kind of with Austin, the fact that with the running attack they have, why the hell did Phillip Rivers throw the ball 46 times? There's just no need. I mean, I get they were down in the 2-minute drill and stuff, you throw more, but there's just no reason to throw the ball that much with that good of a rushing attack. Also, I think their defense isn't going to be that bad. Like, they looked – I mean, Gardner Minshew tore that defense up, mostly the secondary. But I don't know. I feel like it was just some week 1 stuff. I still buy them in a subpar division that I don't believe in the Texans. So I buy.
I will play devil's advocate here. And it's going to roll into our next buy or sell, actually. Connor, you have anything to say, by the way, before I transition?
I'm going to sell on that. I'm going to sell on the Colts. I don't think Phillip Rivers really has the juice, and I think they're going to keep throwing with them. And it's not going to work out for them. I think they're a little too timid to bust out Jonathan Taylor like Austin wants, and they're not going to do it. They're going to rely on that sidearm throw, and it's not going to go well for them.
What about you, Mark? You got anything in particular you want to say?
I'll buy, but it's like a refundable down payment.
Nice.
Like, I'm not –
Those are very rare.
Like, it's – I'm timid about buying, but I'll buy just because I don't think their defense will be that bad. But their defense was bad against Jacksonville. It was just not good. Their secondary was getting eaten up. And I like Gardner Minshew. I think Gardner Minshew is a good quarterback. But they just looked like they were kids playing professional football on Sunday. Their secondary was getting bullied in the schoolyard. And that's not what you want to see week 1 from a playoff team. So I'll buy that they'll make the playoffs, but their defense has got to be better than it was on Sunday.
I'll play devil's advocate, and I will sell. I'll say that the Colts, what they're showing this past week, have proven to me that I don't know why the hell. And I've fallen into this trap about 7 trillion times with the Chargers. I don't know why I would ever have faith in a football team led by Phillip Rivers. I don't understand it. He lets me down every single time. And the thing about that secondary is they're really young.
Yeah.
With the exception of Xavier Rhodes, who's washed up.
It's not very good anymore.
So
yeah,
I don't know if I see it getting better. That's going to be a problem because if they get into shootouts, they're going to lose.
Yeah.
So that's actually going to go into our next buy or sell that I actually had to modify after I was watching some of Monday Night Football from last night. Buy or sell, Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger are the only good old quarterbacks.
Sell. I don't think that's true. Just
Sorry.
because you didn't mention Drew Brees.
What's our classification for old here? 35
See,
up? Over
35 and above.
Yeah, my question was the Matt Ryan question. Because I was leaving him out of it when I wrote this.
Mhm.
Obviously, he's still good, but
Well, I'll sell it just because from what I watched from Ben Roethlisberger, I'm not convinced he's still a above average quarterback.
Yeah.
He had really good throws, and then for the most part, he had bad decisions and lazy throws. From what I could see in that game, he had the Carson Wentz I'm not going to get sacked gene, and then just got sacked after.
I was gonna say, how'd that
holding the
work
ball.
out on Sunday?
Ben's kind of always had that gene in him, though.
Yep.
Like, it's kind of always his gene, just taking hits.
Yeah, you can take a hit.
see,
But-
I thought the opposite. Like I know Ben had talked about going into the game that he was pretty nervous about coming out and playing, with it being his first game in about a year. A year ago today, actually, was when he got injured. But I think after the first couple drives or so, the first couple drives were shaky, and that's actually where I wrote my last one that I wrote here. I wrote, was I wrong about the Steelers? ? When they looked really bad in the first quarter. But I've since deleted it because the rest of the game happened.
They were also fired. New York guy.
But I think after like the first quarter, like you could tell that Ben was kind of shaking some rust off. But I think after the first quarter, he was making classic Ben throws. He had the zip on the ball that you like to see. He was avoiding the sacks. He ran for a
He
first
did.
down.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
late in the first half, yeah.
Yeah.
So I see no reason to believe that Ben isn't still a good quarterback. But I think this was more of an indictment about the way that specifically, and I was talking through this with someone today, the way that specifically Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers looked. Phillip Rivers looked absolutely terrible.
I don't think Brees looked that bad. I think they were going for a different approach.
Brees looked like he did in the playoff game against Minnesota last year. And if that's the case, he has a wet noodle for a throwing arm.
I don't know. I thought – go, Mark.
I was just going to say, I thought the Saints were doing that that they were trying to shorten up the throws and have a more fast-paced, like, quick pass offense.
Why do you think the reason for that is? Because they think he doesn't have the arm talent anymore.
No,
I think they don't have the weapons to go vertical.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think it's just that's more what their offense is going to be built around this year, especially with Michael Thomas out now.
Is he out?
Yeah, he's out. Yeah.
Officially for like 6 weeks? There was something that said he was going to play this week potentially. He said he could play through it.
That was this morning. Recently, they said that they found out that it was a lot more severe than they thought.
They're not going to let him go then, basically, even if he feels comfortable.
Yeah.
I thought you were attacking I'm with Austin, for one thing, selling it because Ben hasn't completely – I haven't bought into him yet completely. And two, I thought you were attacking Tom Brady.
I thought you were too.
Well, Tom Brady's part of that. That's why I
I'm
only said Ben
completely buying
Roethlisberger
the
and
Tom
Rodgers.
Brady hate.
I'm
I
not.
think he looked good.
I'm not sold on the Tom Brady hate yet. I think the
You
secondary
think Tom looked good?
Okay.
I thought he looked
No.
terrible.
I'm not going to say
No, I'm
that
talking.
Tom looked
I
good.
thought Mark just said that.
I said I don't think he looked very good on.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think he looked very good either. I think the first drive was classic. Looked very good. Obviously, everyone always says, I don't know, but they always those are the plays they have beforehand. They practice them all the time. It's
Yeah.
very whatever.
Yeah.
But
Scripted.
yeah, scripted plays. Sorry, I was fighting for the word. Thank you, Nunes. Anyways, I think Tom is definitely going to turn it around. I don't know how you can't. The secondary locked down people. Like Mike Evans couldn't do a damn thing that game.
See, that's why I didn't. When I said Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers looked bad, that's why I didn't mention Brady, because I think that I don't think that it's fair for me to sit. Now, to be fair, Tom Brady didn't look very good last year, honestly. But I think it's fair to chalk up a couple of those things, specifically the first interception.
I think his first interception was worse than his second one.
I don't
That's
think
one over
that.
the
And I
middle.
think that because they give him the break of Mike Evans didn't run his route, but if Mike Evans ran his route everyone would have seen how bad that pass was.
That was one over the middle of the field we're talking about,
That
right?
was like
Yeah.
15 feet over Mike Evans'
Yeah,
head.
that was not
Mike
a good
Evans
thing.
runs that route.
Wasn't great.
But I think some of his throws yesterday or Sunday, and I wasn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. I wasn't watching the game as intently as some other people were, but I think some of the throws and some of kind of like the miscues and whatnot could very well and probably should be chalked up to the fact that this is the first game action that he's had with the team.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, yeah,
Go ahead.
like what you were saying with you said Tom because of the secondaries. I mean, Phillip Rivers was against a Jacksonville defense that should have been bad. Like that defense should be bad.
He looked
And
bad.
he still looked bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's
Yeah.
fair points to be made in those. And even Tampa's secondary by no means was lights out last year and shouldn't have repeated. Their front seven's great, but their passing defense should struggle. So those teams should have been able to be eaten up a little bit. But Tom was probably going against sort of the best secondary unit. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore is probably the best cornerback in the league. So unless you Trey White, it's debatable. But
Stephon Gilmore too.
Not.
I mean, also Tom Brady's just savvy. Half his yards that game came from pass interference.
yeah, oh yeah,
To say Mike Evans got locked up is kind of a fraud statement because Mike Evans probably got 110 yards from pass interference that game.
good offenses just air it out like that.
If they don't hook him and hold him to the ground, he catches those and he has a 100-yard day.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, but
Yep.
that's just how Mike Evans plays the game of football.
Yeah, I don't think that Tom looked that bad. But because even some of the throws that I saw him make, I think he's still I think the fundamentals are kind of still there, right? Like I think he's still got good zip on the ball. I think he's still accurate. I think all the Tom Brady traits are still there. You know what I mean? What concerns me about someone like Drew Brees is I don't see the zip on the ball.
Huge zip on the ball guy.
Well, that's
Huge zip on the ball.
but
Part
when you
of-
get old, you stop being able to put zip on it.
I mean, look at Peyton. Peyton is last year.
Yeah.
Ducked.
I think Tom Brady will
Absolute
be able
duck.
to just be like, he's just going to Tom Brady this season and win games. Regardless if he looks good or not,
Yeah.
he's going to play it smart enough to win.
He's going to play well.
Yeah.
Whether or not he looks good at it.
He might not throw for 450 and 7,
But they're going to win games because he doesn't do Jameis things.
It's not flying, it's falling with style. All right,
There
so
we go.
my last buy or sell. Oh, I guess I got another one for this game. Buy or sell, Rob Gronkowski shouldn't have come out of retirement.
Bye.
too early to tell. Sell.
He looked
Fine,
the same way he did the last time he was on the field, which looked like he had a rod inserted where the sun don't shine. He looks so stiff out there. I feel bad for the guy.
Can't run
Mhm.
I feel bad for the guy.
I agree.
He's doing a good job blocking now. I'll give
Want
him.
to see more. But he didn't look great.
And then last one, this one should be easy as well. Buy or sell. I was wrong, and the Jets are miles and miles and miles and miles away the worst team in the NFL.
Bye.
Well, when your most talented player fakes an injury to get out of the game because his quarterback missed him so bad on a wheel route and now is pretending to be injured and went on IR, I'll buy that as well.
I'll buy it.
Okay, I don't really think there's much
Yeah.
liberation needed there.
Jets stink.
I'll be with the Giants though.
The Giants didn't look
offense
that bad.
I think
Yeah.
the Giants have a lot more talent than that pitiful
Yeah.
Jets team.
Yeah.
New York stops, and they're not even real New York teams.
Okay, so that was buy or sell. So we are going to recap a little bit some of the action from last night. And I think I want to start with what do we think was – I'll give it to each of you guys to kind of go into your piece. But what was your biggest – as much as you could have a takeaway from week one, right? Like what was the biggest takeaway that you had from week one? What surprised you the most? What made you think a little bit? Josh, we'll start with you.
Well, I mean, there was one game I was really looking forward to week one. I think it's it reminded me. Week 1 reminded me to not overreact. Just take it easy. A lot of good teams, or should have been good teams, lost week 1. And a lot of bad teams, in my mind, like Jacksonville, Washington, won. Does that mean that Washington's going to compete for a division title? Probably not. Jacksonville will still win 3 games. They'll be lucky to win 3 games this year, probably. That's just where it's at. Not overreact, specifically with really good teams who just, they didn't look good. They didn't look good. Maybe their defense didn't force a punt until the end of the third quarter. Maybe they couldn't stop a screen pass to save their life. Who's to say? I think a lot of things you need to take it easy and not overreact. That's what week 1 told me.
I like it. That's a good take.
God, I wonder what team. Do you think he's talking about Canada's team?
Yeah.
Canada's team for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Connor, what about you? What was your biggest takeaway from week 1?
I really like the Packers.
God damn, that was gonna be mine.
I think a couple of the wide receivers dropping a little too many passes.
At
Especially-
Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
I don't know. I don't remember the wide receiver, but he dropped a wide open deep ball that clearly was a touchdown. He just caught that. He was home free. But defense played good. Aaron Jones, he should get paid soon, so he's going to be playing hungry when he touches the ball.
Jamal
And
Williams still played a lot of snaps, I think. Sorry to cut you off, but
let's go. Go Pack.
# free Aaron Jones. I don't want Jamal Williams to get a single touch the rest of the season.
Oh, it doesn't really make sense.
Right. Jamal Williams was in there a lot.
Jamal Williams must be the Nathan Peterman of practice. I mean, the guy just keeps getting on the field. It's insane.
Yeah, for needing to pay Aaron Jones, they played Jamal Williams a little too much.
Yeah. You want to know my favorite stat from week 1? In a game in which the Green Bay Packers scored 43 points, Kirk Cousins only threw the ball 25 times.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not going to win games if they don't let him throw the ball. They will be down 20 points, and they will go Dalvin Cook, 3rd and 10, screen pass, 4th and 7 punt.
Hey,
It's insane to watch.
The Vikings – I think that's another thing I was wrong. The Vikings are worse than I thought they'd be.
Yeah.
I agree.
Their defense is a lot worse than I thought it was going to be. It's really bad. And Aaron Rodgers is on a scorched earth type approach to the season.
I like it.
It is replacement.
That's true.
There's one positive to the Vikings for me. You got to respect a team that knows what they do best. I mean, really, they just have Thielen.
Yeah,
just give Dalvin Cook the ball 90 times.
Run the ball and play good defense. That's the Vikings motto. Too bad they don't have a good defense.
Dalvin Cook can put
Too
up
bad Dalvin Cook rushed for 50 yards.
on you any night of the week.
Connor,
Exactly.
you're 100%
Thank you,
right. You want to
Connor.
repeat that one for the fans?
Dalvin Cook can put up $150 on you any given night of the week.
That's true. He's a very talented runner, that Dalvin Cook. Mark, what about you?
Well, I was going to talk about the Packers, but instead I'll talk about the Seattle Seahawks. I get the Falcons are bad. I completely understand. Russell Wilson is a man on a mission this year.
I think it's important. They let Russ cook.
31 for 35?
They let him cook.
Me?
In the game they were bussing it down on Atlanta.
Yeah. And
They let the man cook.
And I think that's a really good sign for the Seahawks this year. I know their defense could have played better. That Falcons, Matt Ryan threw the ball, 103 times?
Yeah, they threw the ball 670 times last year. I think
Yeah,
yesterday
yeah.
he threw the ball 630 times.
Yeah.
So,
They had 3 receivers over 100 yards.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I know the secondary could have been a little better, but this Russell Wilson to DK Metcalf connection, oh boy,
Oh.
there are going to be a lot of those this year.
DK Metcalf showed the true dichotomy of DK Metcalf the other day in a couple of plays. He had a couple of great athletic catches, had the deep balls that he was catching, and then he had the really bad drops too on it.
But I feel like he's one of those guys you might just have to live with that. if he gets the opportunity, he will be a 95-yard-a-game guy. And I think they're going to give him the opportunity this year. I think Russ is going to throw it to him deep more than he did last year. And I don't know. I was really impressed with the Seahawks.
I think Greg Olsen may turn out to be a sneaky good ad for them, too, on that team. He was like 4-4 for like 30 and a touchdown or something like that. Like, nothing fantastic, Greg Olsen, but like just having another big weapon, potentially.
He's Greg Olsen. That man's a Hall of Famer right there.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tyler Lockett's really good. And I like Chris Carson. This team's going to be really good.
All right, Austin, what's your big takeaway from week 1? I have a feeling I know what it's probably going to be, but
I won't know what it's going to be because it's not about anyone in particular, any team in particular. It is that we are who they thought they were. We thought they were. Mostly every single team in the NFL is a carbon copy of last year. They are what we thought they were. What do we think the Chiefs were? What do we think the Cowboys were, to go back on that? A team who's going to underperform and score 17 when they shouldn't. What do we think the Eagles were? So let's not even get into that. We knew what they were.
You and I had very differing opinions on the Eagles.
So many teams that I watched play week 1, I was like, this is exactly how I thought this team was going to play football, and this is exactly how they played football, and this is – like, the Falcons are one of the biggest.
Yeah.
Like, what was that? That was like they just went in with the same game plan that they just went 7-9 with and thought it was just going to work. And it never works. And they just keep doing it over and over again. I don't know. So many of these teams just feel like the same exact team as last year to me, and it was weird to watch.
Yeah, that's also a good
Who the hell's Russell Gage? Where did he come from?
He's a guy.
Yeah, but is he a rookie this year? Like,
No.
he's not.
No.
Who is he?
No?
This is his third year in the league, I think. He's a third-year player.
I'd never heard his name before. And every time I tuned in to, like, listen to, I got the mix. Every time it was like, the Russell Gage for 10 years. I'm like, who?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I got nothing. I think my biggest takeaway from week 1, we already talked about the Packers is going to be mine too.
You're welcome.
Damn.
Are we overreacting on the Packers?
Oh, what'd you say, Mark?
Are we overreacting already on the Packers?
I don't know. Their defense still looked not good, but Aaron Rodgers looked
Hear me out, though.
so much better than he did last year.
Imagine a playoff game where we have letting Russ cook versus letting Rodgers cook.
Oh, that would be back to 2014, and I would love every single second of it. I would go crazy for that.
96.
Oh, that would be insane. My biggest takeaway, actually, of the week was that maybe I shouldn't expect so much regression from the Ravens.
Yep.
Maybe I just shouldn't. Maybe they're just an outlier. Maybe the team just is that good.
I'm really waiting for them to play someone not named the Browns before I make any decisions.
The Browns beat them.
Fair.
Yeah, the Browns are the most – they could beat anyone, but they could also just show up and not play football team in the NFL.
It's going to be a big litmus test this week to see whether or not the Browns are legit, by the way.
Yeah.
It's a game they should win, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Maybe I underestimated the Ravens a little bit, as much as you possibly could, a 14-2 team.
Yeah.
It was kind of whack, but what do you do?
That's a good one. That's fair.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anything else? Any other takeaways from week 1 or anything like that? Or are we going to spin it forward?
All right. Do I got to say it?
What's that?
Do I got to say it, Mark?
I think you might have to say it, Austin.
The Philadelphia Eagles suck at football.
Very bad.
They
They're
have
not
no
good.
heart. I'm determined that half these injuries are barely injuries, and they just don't want to play football. Lane Johnson just deciding not to play football this week really cemented this debacle that was going to happen.
And what bothers me is the difference between the first half and the second half.
Yep.
Like, the first half, they looked like a 11 win.
Me and Austin were
with Doug Peterson. He
we
comes
were
out
texting.
and he comes out with set plays. And when those set plays works, Carson Wentz throws the ball. When they don't work, they tell Carson Wentz, don't run. So when he doesn't run, he just stands in the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
And he just gets sacked, or he holds the ball too long, or he doesn't throw it away. Because they just keep telling him not to run. He won't scramble out of the pocket. He won't make plays for himself. It's just going to be a doomed season if you try and Nick Foles Carson Wentz. And they just keep doing it. Doug Peterson just wants Carson Wentz to be Nick Foles, and it's just not going to work.
You're right, Mark. Me and Austin were going back and forth. Although the entire first half was like, wow, this team might be the stuff. This team's nasty. Look at that. Wow, Goddard's so involved. They're going back and forth between tight end.
Jalen Reagor was running some great routes. He made a couple of nice catches. I was really impressed. And then the second half comes around, and Carson Wentz forgets how to play football.
Uh-huh.
It's just, I didn't understand it. I stopped watching as soon as the fourth quarter started.
Oh, you knew the game was already over at that
I was like, this game's done. I was like, I don't need to watch the rest of this game. And then I checked the final score at the end. Oh, yeah, we still lost. Of course we did. We can't come back against a Washington football team. Are you kidding me?
Meanwhile, you know what team you shouldn't have stopped watching at the start of the fourth quarter? The Chicago Bears.
I had the Bears winning that game, so that was kind of cool.
I got into a big argument with one of my housemates today about what the Bears should do moving forward. It was stupid.
Full A-Rob thing?
Pay Allen Robinson. That's all I have to say. All right?
They won't do it.
Yeah,
Why would they?
just can't have Anthony Miller as your number one.
Pay that man. Pay him.
They won't.
Anyways.
I mean,
what, Josh?
I hate to stay in the NFC East for another hot take, I guess, or like takeaway.
Here we go.
JG gonna do JG stuff. He's gonna run that ball into the middle of the line, no matter what.
You can take the man out of Dallas, but you cannot take the Dallas out the man. Jason Garrett will not stop.
He was like, Saquon, I get it. You like to go outside. You're going right up the middle.
And
you're going to get stuff.
He just doesn't know who his offensive line is anymore, I guess.
Yeah.
This whole -3 yards before contact in last night's game.
He does not care.
It's so abysmal.
My sports broadcasting professor, big Giants fan, he just ranted about how they use Saquon Barkley for like 10 minutes at the start of class.
You have to
today.
be bad to be able to use Saquon in such a way that it looks that bad. Like he can't actually play football.
Roethlisberger had more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley.
It should have just been screen passes. Have him run routes. Put him in the slot. Stop. What is this? Why are we just handing it off to him straight up the middle on 1st and 10 and starting every drive 2nd and 17? What is going on?
If I'm Gettleman, I try and keep Danny Dimes as far away from Jason Garrett at all times. I know he's his offensive coordinator, but anytime they go to sit each other on the bench, get the 6 feet out. Can't get near each other. Stop giving him advice. Stop talking.
Instead of the clear plastic shield thing, it's just 6 feet of lead.
Yeah.
And for some reason, you're watching that game, right? This has got to be how good Saquon is. You're going, well, I mean, he's still going to break one. He's Saquon, right? You're just sitting there watching the game, and then like mid-third quarter, you go, no, there's just no way. It's just not possible. He can't do it. It's just, I had to stop watching. Well, I also had to stop watching because I had to go somewhere, but that, I would have stopped watching.
Regardless.
Someone had to say it.
Someone had to say it.
Okay. That was it on our week 1 conversation. I think
another thing. Yeah, no, go.
And we're going to spin this one forward to week number 2, starting this Thursday with a game that we've already mentioned, but a game that I think could be pretty telling for the rest of the season. It's going to be a fireworks type matchup. The Battle of Ohio this Thursday evening between the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Even the nickname is boring as hell.
What else do you want to call it? The battle for the state that doesn't matter?
Yeah, kind of.
The most important states in the union, goddammit.
Hey, no, it's not.
No.
Biggest swing state out there. What are you talking about?
Get Ohio out of here.
What?
Get them out of here. No one likes Ohio. You know what state people like less than Ohio? Delaware.
What?
Oh, yeah,
Delaware does suck.
Just saying
First
random states? No.
First state, my ass. Get Delaware out of here.
Utah?
What?
What?
Yeah, Utah's just a bunch of Mormons, right?
And don't need Utah
Yeah.
either.
Okay. Well, the Battle of Ohio this Thursday night. I think I mentioned it earlier, but I think this game is going to be pretty telling when it comes to the rest of the Browns season. With that roster, you'd think that this is a game that the Browns should win. With all the money they've invested in their offense, you'd think this is a game where they'd be able to put up a lot of points. We're going to see this week whether or not the Ravens defense is just that good or the Browns offense just will never be good. We're going to see it this weekend. Now, I know that, the Bengals defense shut down vaunted Tyrod Taylor and that dynamic Los Angeles Chargers thing that they call an offense, but I'm not buying it. You know they're not good.
No.
You know they're not good. You know that defense isn't good. And guess what? For some reason, I'm still expecting them to come out here. Jarvis Landry isn't looking like he's going to play. So I'm expecting here to come out here still. Odell is going to get 16 targets and 4 catches for 16 yards because Baker – I don't know, man.
They were forcing him the ball to an ungodly amount in the second half, which I get. Like, you got to get –
we have?
I know. Exactly. You got to get your one involved. I get it. But, like, it almost seemed like too much. Like, they were just trying so desperately to get this guy the ball.
You got to get him the ball, but like you actually in that attempt, you have to actually get him the football.
Yes.
Like you can't have a game. You cannot have a game where Odell Beckham has 10 targets and 2 catches. It's
They even just did one of those like wide receiver screens basically just to get it in his hands.
Yeah.
To see what he can do. And I'm like, let
you
him
know
go
this
up.
man can make plays. You
Yeah.
have to get the ball into his hands to do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
shopping him?
what'd you say?
Is it true that they're shopping OBJ?
I don't know. I haven't heard any actual reports on that. I've heard like Twitter rumors, but that's about it.
That's all I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I am in every single fantasy league I have him. Shopping him.
It's interesting. 'Cause I'm
Garbage.
trying to buy him from Pat.
Get him as far away from me as possible.
Pat's going to ask for Dalvin Cook in exchange for Odell Beckham because he doesn't understand how players work.
Yep.
Same thing with Vince. We're not going to have that conversation. I hope they're both listening, by the way.
You know they're not.
Shout out to you
Go
guys.
shot. Vince says he's going to listen, but then he's going to watch for 2 minutes just so he can like make sure the view is counted, and then he's going to go, I don't know, do a keg stand or something. I don't know what he does.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. I don't know. What are your guys' takes on Cleveland on this game on Thursday? What are we thinking?
Connor, what do you think? You've been quiet.
Cleveland sucks, man. I'm out on it.
Connor is the man of the people. Like, if there's any person on this podcast that's a populist, it's going to be Connor Findlay.
Yeah.
All about the fans.
The fans always win. What kind of question was that? Baltimore's going to steamroll. Wait, who are they playing?
They play Cincinnati.
Cleveland and Cincy.
Yeah.
Playing Cincy? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm stupid, first of all. Second of all, this is going to be the worst football game ever. Okay,
I don't know about that. Those Titans Jaguars Thursday night games.
and it's going to be the battle of the suck fest. Okay? And not a good suck.
Connor, I have seen a cat run on the field in a 50-10 game before. There is nothing.
There's nothing.
It was Ravens Dolphins Thursday night football 3 years ago. I remember Austin and I were watching it. The Ravens were waxing Miami,
Okay.
and a cat just ran on the field in the
They
third
could not
quarter.
get it.
It's like Dallas, New York last year.
Yeah.
I think that was more exciting than this Thursday night game.
Actually, yeah, it was more exciting, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Imagine, who books these things? Who goes from Houston, KC to next week, Cincy, Cleveland?
Every team's
Who
got to get
the
a
hell-
Thursday night.
I know, I guess, but who the hell wants to watch this game right now? Week 1, the first overreactions, and you want to go to this team?
The Bears Thursday night game this year is against Tampa Bay. That should be fun.
I just want to see the Browns fail at this point, so I'm going to go with the Bengals on that one. With the Browns,
To be honest, I think Joe Burrow is going to have a tough
It's at nothing.
Is going to have a what, Austin?
season.
Why is that?
The defensive lines in his division are not very nice. They're very mean people.
Now, they might be nice
And-
people. They're
And
just
we saw from
big.
having a
Yeah,
good
they're a bunch
pass
of
rush
bad
against
guys.
him in the game against the Chargers that he's just not going to have fun with that offensive line, and nor is Joe Mixon. And I think that 6 games in his division, he's facing Myles Garrett, and we know Pittsburgh and we know Baltimore, who Baltimore has, Calais Campbell now. So I think it's really going to be tough for Joe Burrow to have a successful season if the offensive line looks the way it did, week 1.
What was I gonna say? Oh, speaking of dominant defensive lines, Carson Wentz better have his safety helmet on this week because Aaron Donald is coming for that ass.
Oh, Carson Wentz is gonna die.
Right. Crazy.
Carson Wentz is going to try and outstrength him.
You guys have seen you guys watched the game on Sunday night. You guys seen the highlights of Aaron Donald
I mean,
throwing
Zach
People to the ground.
Martin got tossed to the ground by
Aaron Donald
all pro. I mean,
yucking Cowboys offensive linemen everywhere.
Murdering them.
Yeah. He
not
picked
even
up
like
Zeke-
useless linemen.
He picked up Zeke at one point. It was crazy. He picked him up. He said, "You're a little boy. I'm gonna kiss you on your forehead." And then he picked him up. That's what he did. Because Aaron Donald is a man, and the rest of the NFL are little tiny baby boys.
I want to
Yeah,
get.
no, I really like my pick for Defensive Player of the Year now, after watching him play.
Thanks, Austin.
How many steroids do you think he's on?
None.
Probably none.
I want to get his PP tested.
He's just timing it right for the drug test.
Okay. Well, I just like to think that he's good. So,
I
I'd
did it
like
for
to think
years.
That as well.
That body is unattainable for what he's doing out there. Okay. Take me back to the days where there was Dwight Freeney with his muffin top
there are still guys out there like that.
kind of plunged through the offensive line.
You ever seen Akeem Hicks play football? He's a portly man.
Big fella.
What happened to the Vince Wilforks of the league?
What are we talking
I miss Vince.
I just want a mammoth of a man to play nose tackle, so nobody can run the ball.
You know who I realized?
500-pound man.
What's that, Connor?
Still realize the club, Jason Pierre-Paul, still plays football.
He does?
I didn't know that either. I saw him during the game. I was like,
Yeah, my brother pointed it out to me. I was like, Kyle watching football?
Didn't he get a sack?
Second of all, I was like, Jason Pierre-Paul?
Still in Tampa? Where's he
He's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, and he's still good at football.
Yep. Can confirm. What on the week 2 slate is looking tantalizing to you guys? What are you thinking?
I didn't look.
Any games in particular that are looking interesting to you?
Minnesota, Indianapolis.
Ah, yes, the marquee matchup of the week. A man of taste, I see. That game shouldn't be something.
What?
I mean, it should tell us
do you
which
think
team
that's
is going to bounce back and which team's just probably going to be mediocre the rest of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
For me, I like Cowboys Atlanta. I want to see how the Cowboys defense does against another 50 pass attempt team. See if they
Yeah,
can
well-
withhold it and score on a bad defense. Can
Yeah,
they
this
score
game-
on this defense?
This game legitimately should have 80 points.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's shootout potential, right? But didn't you think that this Sunday night should have been a shootout?
No, this is going to be another trap game. This is going to be a game with shootout
Yeah.
potential that the under is going to hit. I can feel it.
Bet
I
the
can feel it
under.
already.
The over under is probably on
I am-
58 something.
It's at 52.5. I'd hit the over until this thing hit 100. These defenses suck.
But what? Sure. What gave you a glimpse of hope in this Cowboys offense to put up 50 points?
They're playing the Atlanta Falcons.
My disgust, mostly with this team on the Sunday night, was the fact that it seemed like they just couldn't spread the ball around it. First off, Jarwin going down seems like nothing, but it's actually kind of big. They have no tight end pressure at all.
Yeah, because Dalton
Dalton
Keene is
Schultz.
bad.
Yeah,
So-
Dalton Schultz. Have some respect.
Dalton Schultz. Dalton Keene's a different player.
But that Michael Gallup got 3 targets, maybe. What are they doing?
Cooper got 13.
He's the only receiver on the team, I guess. What are we talking about? You just talked about they should have been Atlanta this week. They should have been the guys. 100-yard receivers, 3 of them. I mean, they should be spreading the ball around like nobody's business. They're attacking with the number 1. It makes no sense. They had no creativity. There were like 8 zone reads that all went to Zeke. There's no illusion at that point. Dak, take off. You fool. Jesus. I mean, you're not fooling anybody. No defense is going to predict you to run if you never run. You're just waiting for the one big one you bust off. Nobody cares. God damn it. He sucked. I can't watch this team anymore. The point is, like, you're going to pay this guy best in the – me and Austin talked about this. Because I was talking about guys I was watching the game with was like, yeah, this is what he does best, getting out in the field, running. And I'm like, think about what you just said. The best thing he does, and he's still like the 7th best quarterback in the league at doing it. He's not good. He's not the best at anything. And you're going to pay him $41 million. He's like, yeah, but Austin was playing advocate saying, he's just so consistent at everything. I go, you just paying for mediocrity now? You're paying for consistency? Who gives a flying? Okay? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Pay Andy Dalton $7 million to do the same thing Dak can. And then go out and get Jalen Ramsey. And go out and get Jamal Adams. I mean, what are we talking about here? Buy guys that actually make a difference to your team. This is a fool's ransom. Pay him $41 million, and the team's dead. Team's dead. I will die, a Cowboys fan, rotting. With a Dak jersey that I put every cigarette I have from now out on a Dak jersey that I have. Disgusting. This team disgusts me, and I will die a fan. Okay.
What happened to not overreacting to week 1?
No, I mean, really, though, this game should go like this. Hand off to Zeke, hand off to Zeke, hand off to Zeke until the game's over. It shouldn't stop. They shouldn't actually try and 100-yard pass to everybody this week because they could just control the game and run the ball all over the Falcons. But they won't. I tell you they won't. They'll do something stupid, and they'll disappoint again.
Somebody's going to have a smash spot, though. Like, Tavon Austin's going to have 120 yards receiving or something.
He's on San Francisco.
Okay, whoever their 4th receiver is. I don't know.
Cedric
Billy
Wilson.
Bob Joe? Who is it?
Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson.
Cedric Wilson's going to have 150 yards this week.
Russell Gage is the guy. He will eat us up. I saw Cowboys Twitter's going off. The one guy was like, who's going to guard Julio Jones this week? And our main beat reporter said, probably no one. That's what he said. He said nobody probably.
Well, there's nobody in the league that can guard Julio Jones.
Sure.
I mean, because you can't play man against Julio and you can't play man against Calvin Ridley. So what are you going to do? You just got to play zone.
Pray to God that your all new defensive line that you've just paid out the wazoo for is going to actually force pressure on Matt Ryan. It won't.
I don't think it matters. I think that these guys get open so quickly that it's really just going to be keep the ball away from Atlanta more than –
I think I told Austin this, but like the Cowboys defensive line now this is by no means did I look this up, but has to have the most experience out of any other D line in the NFL, I'd guess, in total years out of starters. And you couldn't tell. They looked terrible.
That's kind of a blessing and a curse, though, because with the most experience means that you're the oldest, which means that you're not the most athletic.
Fair.
Which goes a long way. Like there's an actual like quantifiable stat that says once any offensive line has a cumulative age over 150, that offensive line is going to tank. Like that's an actual quantifiable study that's been done.
Even to this point, like I mean, how many times did they jump or fall off sides or do things that weren't even
that shouldn't be happening.
That just can't be happening for
Everson Griffin
players.
and Don, yeah.
I mean, DeMarcus
Pro
Lawrence
Bowlers
does it all the time. Didn't DeMarcus Lawrence do it on the first snap of the game?
That was yeah. Or that was Aldon Smith the first half, I think. And then Griffin did it a couple times. I mean, Pro Bowlers. Legitimate Pro Bowl defensive linemen jumping. I don't know.
You try it, man.
I don't know. I think it should be a fun game to watch, though.
Yeah, sure.
Especially if you're in group chats with Cowboys fans.
Oh, God.
Those are always the best.
Yeah, I need to be able to watch every Cowboys game with Josh.
It's not fun. You don't want to watch it.
After that little escapade.
I'm
You
the
don't want it.
worst and the best fan. Both.
This
What are you the-
team
what are you the best
disgusts
at?
Me, and I
Heart.
will die a fan.
I've got heart.
Your heart
You
is kind of fleeting,
you
though,
just-
because every other second you're out on the team. So I don't know what
Yeah,
kind of heart
that
you're
shows
talking
true heart. I don't oversell anything about this team, except for when I said they were going to win the Super Bowl, or go to the Super Bowl. But I mean, shouldn't they have? On paper, it seems like I don't know.
Every year.
Maybe I'm a fool.
Every
Yeah.
year. It's like that.
Mark.
Yeah, every year the same things is said.
So,
All right. I forget what we were talking about, but there you go. That's week 2 in my mind. That's all I'm thinking about right now, baby.
we were talking about week 2. Is there any other games that are important, or do we want to move on to the next thing?
They're important. I got 2.
Okay.
I like Denver, Pittsburgh. I think Denver's really going to I think Denver's going to be make or break for Pittsburgh, whether or not you see them as a good team, whether or not Big Ben proves himself for yet another week.
Mhm.
The second game I like is Houston against Baltimore.
Yeah, that one could be fun.
I think that's a fun game. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, great quarterbacks. Always a great recipe for a good game.
Every game Lamar Jackson plays is a fun game.
That's true.
Hope he gets the level.
Because then at some point we get to see Robert Griffin III, and that's what
makes it fun. You're right. Robert Griffin III, 1 for 1 for 3 yards this past week.
Hey,
Give that man the MVP.
Efficiency.
only person in the league with a higher completion percentage than Gardner Minshew.
That's true. You're right. You're right about that.
Yes, you know.
But I think we're going to turn it forward. I think we're going to move on to our fantasy advice for the week. Kind of wrap things up here on the hot stove, unless anybody has any other pressing topics. I don't think I'd mention it on the broadcast itself, but we are going to be recording our very first Hot Stove After Dark this Thursday afternoon, which is the funny part about it. It's going to be Hot Stove After Dark during the day. We'll record that this week, and we're going to cover a lot.
God knows what.
A lot. The last 6 months of sports. Somehow we're going to condense that down into like a 2-hour video.
I think we can do it. Jeff Passan will be there. It'll be great.
I don't know as if we can guarantee that. I don't know about that one.
What's that? No good?
And no, we're not
I
getting.
don't know if
getting
he's gonna be
Jeffrey?
there. I'll let him. I'll see, because like him and I were on a first name basis, right? So like,
Oh yeah.
Are you going to go with Mr. Passon or is it Jeff?
You definitely go with Mr. Passon. Or Sir
You got to start with Mr. Yeah, then hope that he goes, call me Jeff, and then you're and then you're in it.
No, I think you just start with Hefe.
do I just start the call and go, my name is Jeff?
Oh, immediately.
He's just like, is this real? Am I being punked? This kid wanted a legit interview?
Yeah, you just Eric Andre him.
Just
I'm just sitting here twirling my
shirt.
beard and I go, what are your thoughts on Benghazi?
You can use your Hannibal Buress background. Or your
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Fire off a gun, maybe, if you have it. Do a desk pop.
So yeah, we'll see. Probably not. I assume he won't be on Hot Stove After Dark, but watch Hot Stove After Dark and you'll see whether or not Jeff Passan is on the episode.
Good tease.
This episode sponsored by Jeff Passan.
Hey, can you
He's
say
not
that?
giving us money.
Oh wait, that's not true. We're sponsored by Christine Leahy though. So
Oh, that's true.
There you have it.
that's a callback right there.
Yeah, it is.
Back to the early days of Hot Stove when we were certainly sponsored by Christine Leahy.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
she
yeah.
even on that show anymore? Didn't she get her own show?
Yeah. Well, not
Let's
anymore.
still go.
Let's go back in.
Let's get sponsored by Jocko.
What is your obsession with this man?
I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
Some things I've heard. Some things I'm not too proud to talk about.
Yeah, did you just come back from deployment or something?
Basically,
Okay, so
I have an important announcement.
what's up?
I'm going all night. Let's go.
Oh, Connor's gonna be here the whole time.
Let's go.
Wow.
Wow. Okay, so
already made it half an hour longer than last week.
It's true.
Sure. He had a cup of coffee. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's ready to go to interrupt the show with his notifications.
Sorry. Snapchat.
Come on. I got the same Snapchat. You didn't hear me blowing up the stream?
It said Denver in 7. Oh, sorry.
Well, considering they're playing right now and Denver's about to win, I'd say so. Yeah.
Wait, are they? I haven't even.
They're up 15 with 2 minutes left, Mark.
Oh, beautiful.
W's.
I texted Austin probably 5 minutes ago and said Adam Silver's about to hit the button. Because this is the NBA's worst nightmare. Is that this is not the NBA. The Western Conference Final is not the battle for LA.
The worst nightmare is Nuggets Heat.
Oh my!
I was going to say, I can't wait for a Denver.
That series is going to be fun as hell, though, if we get to that.
Yeah, all one of you guys watching.
For the two fan bases in the deck, yeah. Oh.
We're going to do our fantasy advice for the week. So we're doing a little bit of a in-house competition here. The four of us that do daily sports, Connor, you don't do those, right?
No, sir.
Okay, so the four of us. Okay, so this is actually what we'll do. We're going to talk through our lineups for this week for our hot stove contest, and then Connor is going to rank them. So Connor, I want you to pay attention.
Okay, yes, sir.
All right, Connor, I want you to tell Mark. Are you even in the contest?
Yeah, I got it. I filled out my lineup about 10 minutes ago.
Okay. So we're gonna each go through our lineups, and then Connor, you're gonna tell us which one is your favorite.
I write these down to remember.
If you want to remember them, you might. It doesn't really matter all that much, but I will start. So the slate we're doing is the Thursday through Monday slate. We're doing the entire week 2 slate, and right off the bat, I'm riding the hot hand. I'm going with the quarterback stack of Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams this week. They got a good matchup against Detroit, who look like they crumble like a cookie when it comes to people attempting to throw the football at them. And I like Aaron Rodgers' price point a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's the 9th quarterback in the slate at 7,900. Davante Adams is the second most expensive wide receiver at 8,600, but it's worth the price for a man who could get 15 catches literally any week, any given time. My 2 running backs that I went with are Alvin Kamara and Jonathan Taylor. I like Jonathan Taylor's value a lot this week now that Marlon Mack is out for the season. Unfortunately, he should be getting a bigger workload than he had this past week, and he's 5,800 currently on FanDuel, which I love that price a lot. Alvin Kamara, of course, I'm the one to pay up, and I do think that with Michael Thomas's ankle sprain, I think it's a good possibility that the Saints try to run a little bit more, and whether that means more carries for Alvin Kamara or a bigger workload for Latavius Murray, which I think is something that we could watch out for. I think either of the Saints running backs are going to be good plays this week, and obviously I'm a big Alvin Kamara guy. My other 2 receivers other than Davante Adams are Odell Beckham Jr. We talked about him earlier. I think this is going to be a big make-or-break game for the Browns. And I see no reason why Odell can't have a big game against this Bengals secondary. And then my other receiver is Stephon Diggs. I like Buffalo. What do you got? He got 9 targets this past week. 9 targets, 8 catches for 86 yards. So it looks to be that he is back at 2018 Stephon Diggs form. They're not chucking it super deep, but then again, they've only played 1 game together against this Miami defense, which maybe I'll reassess that because I forgot that Miami has probably the best cornerback tandem in the NFL. Maybe I'll reassess it, And in fact, I'll do it right now. Let's see if there's another receiver that we can change out the slate for. But in the meantime, I'll talk about my other players. My tight end spot, I have Hunter Henry as my tight end for this week. He is tight end 7 when it comes to price point. I think that the Chargers are going to be in a mad dash to score points this week, and Hunter Henry looked to be Tyrod Taylor's number 1 target this past week against Cincinnati, and he's a talented player, and talent wins above all. And then in my flex, I have David Montgomery. He showed this past week that somehow he magically healed from this groin injury that was supposed to keep him out for a month and was ready to take a full workload. And again, maybe it's something I'll reconsider because the Giants' rush defense did look pretty good. against Pittsburgh the other night. So while you guys are talking about your lineups, I might retool mine just a little bit.
Like
And
Benny Snell rush for 125 yards on him.
yeah.
I read
And
that quick. See if I got that right.
Yeah, Benny
Yeah.
Snell was pretty efficient against them.
that's true.
James Conner was not.
That's fair. That's true.
All right, what were you saying, Connor?
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Alvin Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, OBJ, Stephon Diggs, Hunter Henry, David Montgomery.
And the Bears defense as well as my defense for the week. I think that pass rush is going to be a problem for this. Now, to be fair, again, another thing that I should reconsider. Austin and I talked about this last night. The Giants' offensive line just looked like they were pass blocking every play.
Yep.
Like they didn't try to open a lane, and to be honest, it didn't not work. Like Daniel Jones had some clean pockets to throw in.
Yeah, I think the pass protection was actually good against that type of defense, which was
All right.
weird.
So while the rest of you guys talk, I'm actually going to change my lineup a little bit.
All right. I just altered mine, which I'll probably do another 6 or 7 times before.
Yeah, this is all pending some late night moves. Mine's pretty set though. Mark, you want to go? You just said it.
So I'm going with a triple stack this week. Yeah, that's right. Because I have a strange feeling that Russell Wilson's going to do something special again. So we're going with him, Tyler Lockett, and DK Metcalf.
I did that last week, and it was pretty okay.
Yeah. I am triple stacking them. My running backs, I usually like to go cheaper running back against a bad team, which is what I did this week. For both of them, I went Kenyon Drake, Arizona against Washington. I like Kenyon Drake. He's slippery. He can get through people. I just like the guy. And Devin Singletary, who I think is ready to have a big week against Miami. They let him loose a little bit more. I think he could have 1 or 2, albeit short, but 1 or 2 touchdown rushes. For my third receiver, I am going with Adam Thielen because I think Kirk Cousins might throw the ball more this week after they saw that worked out last week, going up against Indianapolis, whose secondary was very much exposed last week. I just think it might be, it might be something they look at after seeing the Colts secondary. Tight end, I'm going with Dallas Goedert because apparently he's better than Zach Ertz out of nowhere. And I've always liked Dallas Goedert. He was targeted a lot last week, and I look for that to continue. And my flex is where I sort of went a little nuts here. I went with Zeke. as my flex. I had plenty.
Like that's nuts.
No, like I meant price-wise.
Oh, okay. I was like, yeah, solid flex.
Price-wise, I went with Ezekiel Elliott. Against Atlanta. Atlanta stinks. Dallas, we don't know if they stink. They might stink.
But Zeke will rush. That's a good bet.
But Zeke will rush. And then my defense I am going with is Kansas City against the Chargers because the Chargers stink and the Chiefs don't.
All right, Connor, just before anybody starts, I have 2 changes to make to my roster.
I think I got all the space.
Already. Couldn't give it 5 minutes.
All right, it's my last changes. So I changed Stephon Diggs for Marquise Brown. I think Houston's going to be a team that you can pop the top off, and they're not just going to be able to play the same god-awful zone that they did against Kansas City because they're going to have to account for Lamar Jackson. So they're going to get exposed. And then so with that extra money, I changed my defense to Pittsburgh's defense against Denver.
Nice. Austin, you want next? You want me to go?
I can go. I also have a passionate triple stack. I was talking about it earlier. I have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Calvin Ridley. Because regardless if they lose by 40 or not, Matt Ryan will have 400 yards, and both these guys will have 100 yards receiving. I just hope both of them get in the end zone. That's a tough thing with Julio. But, maybe. You're going to hear expensive. That's all my lineup is. At running back, in a game that I think they should be in control and be winning for most of the time, Derrick Henry, I love Derrick Henry this week. I think that he got 30-plus touches in a game in Mile High. I think sky's the limit for him going into this week. Someone that should be in everybody's lineup. Zach already has him in his lineup. Jonathan Taylor, 5,800. It's just a bargain. Minnesota's defense didn't look good in really any aspect, and Jonathan Taylor's really, really good at football. Let it be known. Continuing on the expensive side, my third wide receiver on top of Julio Ridley is Devontae Adams.
Jeez.
I love Devontae Adams. He is my favorite player besides Saquon Barkley, but since Saquon had a bad week 1, he's now my favorite player.
You got to spend a tight end, Dalton Schultz. Who the hell are you going to buy?
So Devontae Adams at wide receiver because he's going to get 17 targets, and so who cares after that? My tight end will be Noah Fant because even in a bad matchup, I think Drew Lock likes him. And I think Pittsburgh's pass defense didn't look immaculate by any sense of the word if you get the ball out quick. And I think Noah Fant gets open pretty quickly. And I think he might fall into the end zone. That's really all I'm hoping for. Along with Zach, I got a lot of things in common with his lineup. David Montgomery here in my flex. I like it because I think it's another game script where I think it's generally low scoring. And I think the Bears are in the lead for most of the game. And they know what they don't want to do, and that's keep the ball in Trubisky's hands for too much time. So they're going to try and run the ball. Dave Montgomery hopefully will be even healthier than last week, even though he looked like he wasn't even injured last week. So I don't really know how. But I think they'll rely on him a little bit more. And, you were all wondering where I didn't spend money. I just went with the Raiders defense because the Saints don't have any weapons and I don't care. Defense doesn't matter. So there you go.
Good.
Wait,
All right.
who did you say was this tight end?
Noah Fant.
Noah Fant.
Oh yeah. Where'd you spend your money? You went with what?
Wideouts. The Raiders. The Raiders.
That's what it was. Okay.
All right. It's time to compete out here, Connor. Let's hear this. I got some mixing from everyone's. I also chose to go with a stack. Sticking in the same game as Austin, Oppo team. I went with the Dak and CeeDee Lamb stack because it's his time to find the end zone. I think he finds the end zone in this game. That's pretty much my only thing. He seems to be like at least a 5-catch, 60, 70-yard guy. Hopefully he gets in the end zone. That's my take. Running back, again, Jonathan Taylor. Nothing needs to be said anymore. I think he's the bell cow there. Christian McCaffrey, I spend big at running back. I don't know why I'd have to justify taking him other than the money fact maybe, but
No,
Christian
bad
McCaffrey. Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to
Trash.
justify that one at all.
Yeah. Mark, I also went with Adam Thielen. Not even that I think they're going to throw the ball more, but in a game where he only threw the ball 25 times, he's going to Adam Thielen because there's not many options there. Also, I thought I had the steal of the week here with my wide receivers. Zach made the change to him. Hollywood Brown for only 6,200 in a Ravens offense that should annihilate this Houston team, this beaten and battered Houston team. And then I followed it up with tight end, who I'm just so strong on that I think he's just waiting to be unleashed. It might be too early. Maybe I'm overstepping, but Evan Ingram at tight end. I just think that the Giants' offensive game plan at some point will involve short to him. And if he is running for his life back there, then, that stud's going to be open. At flex, I also chose a Bears player, not David Montgomery, Allen Robinson. You want to talk about the only target on a team? I mean, I know you're probably higher on Anthony Miller than I am, Zach, but Allen Robinson is probably going to catch 10 balls.
Anthony Miller is really good at football.
I agree.
But yeah, Allen Robinson at the flex, and similar to Austin's mentality, defenses don't matter. But I went with Miami against Buffalo. Josh Allen is bad at football, and Miami will contain. Josh Allen is bad at football, Mark. That's right.
I didn't have that much money, man.
For 3,600, how much are the Raiders?
33.
Defenses don't matter. I think that might be my strategy moving forward is just go all out and don't care about the defense that you
Yeah, kind of like that. I thought Austin was going to pick Syracuse University's defense.
Oh, I would have if I could. For less money.
200.
I'm all about attacking bad offense or defenses. The
Yeah.
best ranked defense I'm going against in any of this is like the 19th ranked Tampa Bay defense, rushing defense.
It's
only week one, but
By the way, I don't like the fact that like last year I was like the guru. I had all the advice, I had all the stats and whatnot. And you guys were like, "Oh, your lineups are so good," like that whole thing. But then like
Never made that noise.
now you guys are competing with me, and I'm gonna lose. Like it's upsetting me.
I
I've lost my as of this week. I'll probably lose my pedestal as the resident hot stove fantasy guy.
you won
I'm
me
not
money
very
last
good at
week.
daily fantasy, so
What
I
is
won
that?
money in your league. Using your
Yeah.
lineup last week, I won.
You guys won money,
I'll tell you.
won money in my lineup that I changed like 15 minutes before game time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have. You should just have faith.
Yeah,
Have
I know.
faith in your lineup. I'm not touching this lineup. I want to put it in 3 other.
I think I'm actually not going to touch mine either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just love it.
All right, Connor, I see you crunching the numbers over there. You got some good analysis for us?
No, I'm on Facebook, but I do have all the teams written down, and I don't know if we're gonna go straight off the competitiveness, the compete factor, kind of having the worst team, but just waiting for gritty players to actually perform. I'm gonna go with Josh on that one, but not best team overall.
Grit.
I really see. I love the triple stack plays. I love I love Austin's Matt Ryan, Atlanta Falcons, Julio and Calvin play. But I also do love Mark's Seahawks triple stack. And I love the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams stack. So, but I think best team overall, I'm gonna probably go with Austin.
That's
Nice.
passion.
I think
It's
he's
been
right
big.
about that triple stack is that. I mean, I have Calvin Ridley on my fantasy team, and no matter how well Julio Jones does, it always seems like Calvin Ridley also puts up good numbers. So
Not to mention a triple stack and Devontae Adams.
And Derrick Henry.
let's have Devontae on there.
Jonathan Taylor.
Seriously, how did you have 3,300 left for defense?
Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because Jonathan Taylor's 5,800 and Noah Fant's 5,300. I don't know. These players
He's only 5,300.
are cheap.
That's good to hear. We will report back next week with the standings for this
When
conference.
inevitably I come in
He
last.
does that, and I'll be
When we read out Nunez's new lineup of 7 new players by the time game time starts.
Before we end, I will go into my main lineup for the week. You know, we did the Thursday through Monday slate, but as per usual, I will be offering my main 1 p.m., 4 p.m. lineup. As it stands, these dollar amounts are for FanDuel, so if you play DraftKings, you can go pound sand because nobody cares. So I am going with the same quarterback wide receiver stack that I did with my other lineup. I'm going Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. I don't really need to explain myself there. They're good at football. The Lions are bad at football. Devontae Adams is going to catch a lot of passes. That's all that matters, right? So my 2 running backs, this time I went with Ezekiel Elliott, you know, kind of the same thing that Mark went with. Dude is probably the safest bet for anything when it comes to fantasy football, and he still has the elite ceiling to go for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know, Jonathan Taylor was too much of a good bargain for me to pass up. I have him in every lineup I'm doing this week, and I have him again in this one at 5,800. My other 2 receivers, not dissimilar from my other lineup. I went with Marquise Brown against Houston, and then I went with Anthony Miller against the Giants. I think Anthony Miller is a budding star in this league, and honestly, I could see him. He seems to be like the guy that just gets into the end zone. Honestly, like he catches a lot of touchdowns. I think he might catch a touchdown this week against this Giants defense. Tight end, I went with Hunter Henry again. Again, I think Hunter Henry, you know, is just a solid guy, and if he gets into the end zone, all the better for him. And then I went with A.J. Brown as my flex. I don't know why, to be perfectly honest.
The number 2 on that team?
Yeah, nothing from that game last night really gave me confidence about starting A.J. Brown. The 8 targets were good, but he caught 5 passes for 39 yards. And I get that even without Von Miller, Denver's defense was better than I expected, honestly, last night.
Yeah. I agree.
But they're playing Jacksonville this week. maybe Jacksonville's defense will show its true colors, and A.J. Brown can pop off for a big touchdown, And then left over, I went with the one-man wrecking crew. I didn't pay for the defense. I paid for Aaron Donald versus the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I paid at 4,500. That's just what I had left, and I think he's due for a couple sacks. How many times did Carson Wentz get sacked?
7.
8.
7. That's tough. Aaron Donald might have double that by himself.
Double that.
Was it 8?
Yeah, it ended at 8.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's tough. So that's my lineup for this week. If you need a main lineup, go ahead and use that lineup. I'll guarantee that it makes you money. I can't guarantee that.
All right.
I can't guarantee that.
It's in. I locked it in.
But Josh did make money off the lineup last week.
That's like saying I'm selling a supplement that cures cancer.
I am.
It's not really what it's like.
Yeah, I am selling that supplement though. So
I am strictly competing against Nunez from now on, so I'll never be entering another one of his lineups.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm only competing.
I'm in on that.
We will check in next week to see how our first FanDuel contest went. We'll recap week 2 of the NFL, and we will look forward to week 3. In the meantime, make sure to follow us on Twitter at HotStoveWMYO. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Hot Stove Podcast. Make sure to give the videos a like as well. It helps out with the algorithm. So a little bit more random people can see it. Maybe we can build ourselves a little bit of a following here, maybe we can do it. What'd you say, Connor?
Trying to get monetized.
We're
Maybe
trying
we
to
get
get monetized out here.
maybe we get an ESPN analyst to give us a little retweet here or something. I don't know.
There we go.
Maybe. We'll see what happens. Make sure to look out for more content on the channel coming later this week, actually, with our new episode of Hot Stove After Dark. And just as per usual, we will be putting out our next episode of the Hot Stove Podcast next Wednesday. So make sure to check out the channel for that as well. In the meantime, I appreciate you guys for listening and or watching, whatever you may or may not be doing. But other than that, from us to you, we appreciate you. We'll see you guys next time around.
See you, ladies and gents.
Awesome.